Let's experience Oakland together. Here in the heart of Southeast Michigan, on the hundreds of lakes, on the 138 miles of trails and pathways year-round, and in the 90,000 acres of pristine parkland, inviting everyone to explore Oakland together. The simple pleasures of sipping coffee with a friend, carrying on a conversation, or taking a stroll through one of our 32 historic downtowns. Some of the best places to discover Oakland together. Neighbor pitching in to help neighbor, students envisioning their hopes and dreams, and innovators all building the future in Oakland together. Embracing a region filled with potential, celebrating diversity, welcoming all here to ensure everyone has a voice in Oakland together. All of us. Let's experience Oakland together.
Now, many of you know Dave Coulter for his work with the Board of Commissioners, his work with the Children's Foundation, or from his leadership of the City of Ferndale's mayor. I have the privilege of having an inside story on Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter. So I want to talk to you tonight about the Dave Coulter that I know as his minister. On Sundays, I am Reverend Glenn at Renaissance Unity Church in Ferndale, where Dave and I fellowship together. I witnessed the spiritual grounding that shaped his values and decision-making. Dave is kind and collaborative because he is comfortable with who he is and the purpose of his path. The purpose being to fulfill a pressing desire to make all people matter, to feel valued, to feel vindicated. For many years, as the chair of our church board, he helped to shepherd our church during challenging times and to thrive after a major transition. We've been through a lot, together, unified, making strides forward. Our spiritual center that he helped build reflects the values, morals, and ethics that he espouses. Our congregation is diverse and inclusive. But on one Sunday morning, in a backstage conversation, Dave said to me that our words and actions must manifest moments and opportunities in which we raise the consciousness level of everyone. I am confident that Dave leads this county of over 1.2 million people with the same purpose. Under his competent and capable leadership, Oakland County is coming together. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my friend, the Oakland County Executive, Dave Coulter.
Thank you, man. Love you, man.
Love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Wow. Well, Reverend Glenn, thank you so much for that very humbling introduction, and thank you all for being here in beautiful downtown Pontiac. You know, our state's motto is, if you seek a pleasant peninsula, look about you. These last months, I've been privileged to look about Oakland County. What I knew before about the splendor of our county has only been amplified. We have bustling downtowns, strong suburban neighborhoods, amazing lakes, and peaceful rural areas, and quick access to tremendous regional assets. It's not just the splendor of our places, it's the people that reside here. I've had the opportunity to get to many corners of the county in very informal community meetings. At first, I wanted to give people a chance to meet me, kick the tires a little bit, and be reassured during a time of transition. I found the listening and learning essential to my work as a county executive. The residents of Oakland County are interested, they're thoughtful, and they're generous with their opinions. Glad you understood that. I've also had the opportunity to visit businesses throughout the county. They're proud of their work, they're creative, and they're determined to help move our county forward. The strength of our people is reinforced by Oakland County's strength economically, educationally, and fiscally. Consider this snapshot from 2019. $1.5 million of new business investment was generated on average every day. 25 successful projects generated $235 million in new foreign direct investment. Our county is second in the state in post-secondary education and attainment. We have, incredibly, 1,450 lakes, 138 miles of trails, and 90,000 acres of parks. We also start with a $260 million fund balance. Is there any wonder why Brooks Patterson branded the county as a great place to live, work, and play? I mean, Brooks and his leadership earned a well-deserved reputation for a well-run county, devotion to serving the taxpayers, and a high level of loyalty. When I started this job, I made it clear I was not going to try and fill Brooks Patterson's shoes. Instead, I was going to try to be the best version of me. And as many of you have heard me describe, I never hesitated to borrow some of his good ideas. At my very first meeting as the mayor of Ferndale, I directed city staff to begin developing a multi-year budget. We started at 2 years, and we expanded to 3, just like we practice at the county. Now, it's not a silver bullet. Money doesn't appear from heaven as a result, but you know what? It encourages us to anticipate sooner and provide a framework to plan for the future. I also formed the mayor's CEO group, modeled after the county's business roundtable. It served as an important forum to gather critical input, introduce city departments to the businesses, and encourage networking among our business leaders. And as I prepared for this State of the County, I remembered another Brooks story. I have been told, now this goes back to when I was on the county commission, that I was the only Democrat that Brooks mentioned during one of these speeches. You see, in 2004, Ferndale was kicked out of the Main Street Oakland program over a fight that our then city manager was having with Brooks. It took me over a year working with then Deputy Executive Dennis Tuffalo to get us back in the program, and Brooks acknowledged my efforts at that State of the County. Years later, when Ferndale was awarded a National Main Street Award, Brooks and I hosted the reception together in Ferndale. I appreciate him very much. Now, no one would deny that Brooks was a strong and proud Republican, and yet he held the view there are Democratic ideas and Republican ideas. There are not Democratic or Republican ideas. There are only Oakland County ideas. I agree. So I want to talk to you tonight about some of my Oakland County ideas. I believe the fact that Oakland does well means we have an opportunity, indeed a responsibility, to do even better. We can leverage our strengths to tackle our challenges before they become problems. We can lead and innovate. We can be fiscally responsible with the taxpayers' money and forward-thinking. To do that, we must be Oakland together. Together as public servants working for the public good. Together with our residents and businesses. Together with our region. Now, we demonstrated this spirit 3 short weeks after my appointment. We came together and approved a unanimous vote with a 3-year balanced budget that made key investments in our local roads and a $15 an hour minimum wage for our employees. I deeply appreciate my colleagues on the board for their leadership. We may disagree along the way during the budget process, but when it comes to the foundation of Oakland County's fiscal and economic strength, we stand united. And I believe it's this spirit that will unite us around the pillars of Oakland together. We know we are not competing against ourselves or our neighbors in the region, but as a region against other parts of the country. We're competing against Columbus, Louisville, and Minneapolis, just to name a few. We are up against global competition. That is why I felt so strongly about joining the Detroit Regional Partnership. This 11-county partnership focuses exclusively on attracting businesses to our region. Think of the duplication that exists in all of our economic development departments when we're out there on our own. Let's work together. And I believe, and I'm fully confident, Oakland County will get its fair share of that economic activity. Why? Because Oakland County has a lot to offer the region, and the region has a lot to offer us. I want to recognize our regional partners that are here tonight. Wayne County Executive Warren Evans. There you are. Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle. Washtenaw County Board Chair Jason Morgan. And although he couldn't be with us tonight, I want to recognize Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan. You know, I've deeply appreciated their advice and support as I've taken on this job. They have been gracious with their time. At least they were when I made dinner for Warren, Mark, and Mike. Mark brought Macomb County's best pies, right? Warren brought a great bottle of wine, and we all brought our appetites. How's that for regional cooperation? Now, we may be a little competitive with each other, maybe a little playful at times, and sometimes even a little frustrated. Yet the truth is, we have much in common. We're all fiercely loyal to the citizens we represent and proud of the strengths that our individual areas bring to this region. My pride comes from this, for example. Oakland County continues to be the leader in the Michigan economy, producing nearly 30% of the jobs year to year. And creating the largest GDP of any county in the state. And yet, despite that, it is vital that we not become complacent. If we're not moving forward, we're falling behind. And at the pace the economy is changing around us, we can't afford to stand still. So we have the potential, in my belief, to push further, to plan for the next 10 years, position ourselves to lead the next innovations, and to make sure that we create economic opportunity for all of our citizens in all parts of our county. That's why, in my first 100 days, I visited and heard from dozens of business leaders representing small and large companies alike across Oakland County. I directed my team to act with a sense of urgency to create an economic development strategy that serves as a roadmap for Oakland County's future. Now, my requirements for this plan were clear. Build a plan that diversifies our economy and provides jobs at all levels. Integrate with our local, regional, and state partners. Encourage small businesses to prosper. Value women and minority-owned businesses and promote entrepreneurship across our county. I'm proud to say we kicked off our new economic development strategy in January and held 3 outreach sessions to gather input from workforce leaders, business leaders, and local government officials. Some of you were there. We're going to finalize that plan by the end of March, but I want to share with you one gap that we will act to close immediately. Oakland County currently receives around $300 million in defense contracts. But there is so much more we can do together. Working with the Michigan Defense Center and the Detroit Regional Partnership, Oakland County will do its part to ensure that the state, proudly home as the arsenal of democracy, no longer falls behind other Midwest states in defense spending. My colleague Mark Hackle has been proactive in recognizing the importance of this industry, and now it is our time to strengthen our role. At no time in our state's history have we been more fully represented in Washington on defense, so this is the perfect time to do this. We have an advocate in Senator Gary Peters, who sits on the Senate Armed Services Committee. In the House, we have 3 members who sit on armed services, including our own Congresswoman, Alyssa Slotkin. And on appropriations, we have our own Congresswoman, Brenda Lawrence. So we have the legislative firepower, the brain power with over 80,000 engineers in this region, and the industrial power with over 6,000 manufacturing firms in our county alone. But tonight, I'm announcing the willpower. Oakland County will launch a defense and aerospace initiative to focus on growing the number of defense and aerospace contracts and jobs. Our goal is to achieve $1 billion of investment by 2025, 3 times higher than our current level, and we're going to do it. The county is also going to be a full partner with our county seat, the great city of Pontiac. We are in this beautiful historic theater in part to highlight the great things going on in Pontiac. This video will give you a glimpse of recent progress.
Look what's happening around us.
We are on a trajectory now for Pontiac. When people used to say the heydays of Pontiac were back when we were a bustling automotive town, I say to them, no, you haven't seen anything yet. And we are now beautifying our neighborhoods, restoring the pride by getting rid of the blight. We are now a safer place. We are very happy to have an active and thriving downtown, and people are rediscovering that in great ways. They're coming back to Pontiac and finding Pontiac an attractive and efficient place to do business.
One of the benefits that have occurred because of this renaissance is the development that's come in. All of those things have made Pontiac not only a place of destination, but have shown investment in this community means not only opportunity, but prosperity. Over the last 25 years, this one group, Greater Pontiac Community Coalition and Committee of 50, we've been able to develop a working relationship with new businesses that come in, entrepreneurs that come in, the Oakland University Pontiac Partnership that's helped us to bring about what we call a positive and sustainable change.
Oakland University and Pontiac share a vision and a future. It's a partnership that is beneficial to both the residents of Pontiac as well as Oakland University. You have our faculty and our staff that are engaged in service learning projects that impact the quality of life of the citizens of Pontiac. These businesses that are coming into the city are going to require talent. And so we just want to make sure that our residents of Pontiac are educated and are ready to take advantage of those jobs.
And we're very happy for the number of jobs that have come in with all the different businesses that we've indicated. Jobs of all type. Peninsula Plastics is an example of those kinds of businesses that find Pontiac attractive and a place to grow.
Peninsula Plastics is a returnable packaging provider for various industries, automotive, textile, and retail. All our products we make are 100% recyclable and reusable. In total, we've invested about $8 million into this facility in Pontiac. We're planning to contribute to Pontiac's future growth by continuing to hire more individuals. We have an apprenticeship program and look forward to expanding our operation here.
My hope is that when people talk of Michigan, they will talk of the great livable conditions in the city of Pontiac. A great place to raise a family, a great place to enjoy the arts, a great place to see history unfold. My hope is that when people say Pontiac, they'll say place to be.
Yeah. It's impressive, and they're just getting started. So I'm determined as county executive to make sure that county government is a full and active partner in our county seat's future. So tonight, I am announcing that the county's Division of Community and Home Improvement and all its staff will move into downtown Pontiac. Now, even the best economic strategy is only successful with talent and workforce development. We're blessed in Oakland County to have a strong fabric of Michigan Works offices. 6 locations providing training and job search and connecting our residents with our employers. Last year, we served more than 46,000 individuals and 4,800 businesses. More than 7,000 residents found jobs with our help. So in 2019, we also held 2 successful events to inspire the next generation of workers. Students got to see manufacturing careers up close and personal on Manufacturing Day. We also took the lead in hosting the second My Career Quest Southeast. More than 9,000 students came from 6 counties here to Novi and met with professionals in hundreds of jobs at an interactive career exploration event. I was there, and I knew we were having some success when students were actually interacting with the careers and not their phones. It was impressive. You know how difficult that is. So in the coming year, we will amplify our efforts to provide increased opportunities for our students and young adults. This summer, we're going to increase the number of students engaged in our summer youth program and help them find meaningful work experiences. In addition, our team is working with employers and labor partners to build new apprenticeship programs in health sciences, construction, and information technology, providing students and adults with the opportunity to learn and earn, gaining industry-recognized credentials while also earning a paycheck. So if we're going to fully close the talent gap in Oakland County, we must be intentional and aspirational about increasing the number of adults with post-secondary degrees or credentials. Governor Whitmer has set a statewide goal of having 60% of Michigan adults obtain a post-secondary degree or credential by 2030. Great. It's a wonderful goal. I was quite frankly shocked to learn that Michigan was the only state in the Midwest and one of only 9 in the country that didn't have such a goal. And those states around us with a goal are seeing the results pay off. For example, Kentucky is growing at an education rate 2 times that of Michigan. Now, in Oakland County, we're blessed with a strong K-12 higher education and workforce system. We're strong in large part because we work well together. I saw that collaboration firsthand when I met with education and workforce leaders to discuss the data for Oakland County. Many of those leaders are here with us tonight. The future of work and innovation is going to be seized by those who are not complacent. This is not a local sport, but a national one. And counties in Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, Washington, and Massachusetts are all ahead of us. So tonight, we are announcing Oakland 80 and committing ourselves to ensuring that 80% of our adults have a post-secondary degree or credential by the year 2030. This is not going to happen on its own. We're going to need to bend the curve. We must ensure that high school students obtain the financial assistance available to them, that our excellent career tech education centers have what they need to provide even more credentials of value. Support systems so students who start at one of our colleges actually finish with a degree. Opportunities to gain credentials in partnerships with the building trades. And business initiatives that allow employees to upgrade their skills or go back to school. Importantly, we also have to ensure that no one is left behind. So I am asking community leaders to drill down on the data and set additional goals for students of color, people with disabilities, refugees, and the economically disadvantaged. So finally, no economic development strategy is complete without an honest conversation about regional transportation. Right? Since I first ran for office as a commissioner and as mayor of Ferndale, I've long been an advocate of expanded regional transit. You know this. And I understand why some may think it's easy coming from Ferndale. As county executive, I now see this issue through the lens of the entire county. The data is clear. 40% of the Oakland County workforce commutes from other counties. Nearly 300,000 jobs in Oakland County are not currently served by fixed route transit today, including 4 major hospitals and the 19,000 students who attend Oakland University. And you know what? When we offer fast and reliable service, residents respond. The ridership on SMART's Woodward Fast Service is up 87% over the last 2 years. Our peer regions, like Denver, Indianapolis, Columbus, they've all made major investments in transit and mobility over the last decade. The average population growth in those communities is 17%. Our region lost 6% of its population over the same amount of time. I believe that transit will make our region more competitive economically and attract younger people who want transit options. So when I became county executive, I said I wanted to take a fresh look at a transit plan that could add value for Oakland County. Now, I'm not interested in dusting off the old 2016 plan that failed, albeit narrowly, in Oakland County, but in seeing if there is a new plan that could win the support of our voters. It must do several things. It must address the economic development needs of our communities, provide frequent and reliable service for workers, seniors, and the disabled. It must utilize new technology and create flexible mobility options for communities in all parts of Oakland County. I believe we can reach a transit solution that will benefit our county and the entire region. But as I said earlier, we need to get the plan right. For that, to me, that means we have to maintain and strengthen the accountability provisions negotiated by the Patterson administration. They were right then, and they're still right now. And for those who are skeptical, there might be 1 or 2 of you here, I say, give us a chance. Come to the table. Talk to us about the needs of your residents. Talk to your businesses. Consider recent innovations and help us craft a plan that works for Oakland County. The quality of life we enjoy in Oakland County is more than safe neighborhoods, good schools, and beautiful lakes and parks, although it is those things. In all parts of our county, this quality of life is built on the shared values of opportunity, fairness, and community. These values compel us to address any gaps that exist. We can't be complacent. So on Monday, I announced Oakland Health 360. This patient-centered approach will close a major gap in our county health system. Through a partnership with Honor Community Health, our clinics in Pontiac and Southfield will offer comprehensive, integrated health care to our residents. Within 90 days of board approval, our services will include general primary care, family planning services, and dental care. And when complete, this partnership will include, importantly, mental and behavioral health services. And a partnership with Oakland Livingston Human Services Agency is going to allow us to ensure that residents have important supportive services, including access to insurance, Head Start, and emergency services like energy, food, and housing assistance. If you come in one of our doors to have your child immunized or receive a lead screening, I want you to be able to have a cancer or diabetes screening, talk to a mental health professional, get assistance with prescription drug costs, have a dental checkup, and receive primary care. We must also address the issue of affordable housing in Oakland County. I think as many of you know, the status quo is unacceptable. A recent study done for Oakland County found that almost 27% of households have cost burdens. Among renters, that number jumps to 41%. We simply must do more to provide affordable rental options. We also need to be honest about racial equity. Black households face housing... Yes. Black households face housing problems at a rate of 42% and a mortgage rate denial rate twice that of white households. So we're going to use our HUD and home funds to correct these inequities and ensure that all families have the fairness and the housing choices they deserve. I'm also grateful to State Senator Rosemary Bayer and State Rep Brenda Carter from the great city of Pontiac, who secured money and led the task force to allow us to create a blueprint to end homelessness in Oakland County. When finished, this strategy will coordinate the activities of our partners and identify the gaps in services for us to fill so that we can end this problem once and for all. Quality of life also extends to our parents. I lost my father in 2018, and I'm beyond grateful that his wife, along with my mom and stepdad, are here with me tonight. There you are. Thank you. By 2045, Oakland County will see a 52% increase in residents between 65 and 85, and a 161% increase in those 85 and older. Our seniors want independence, and we must have transportation and other support services that allow them to enjoy their lives. We must also support children who are becoming care providers, right? Oakland County Senior Advisory Council made 2 recommendations that the county will support immediately. We will make available a Prepare to Care resource guide to provide education and relevant resources to family members with senior parents. I'm signing up. I mean, let's be honest. As children with aging parents, we're not always sensitive to what they are going through and the role that we can play to respect and support their aging goals. So we will also educate all county frontline staff with new training to improve our customer service to this critical population. I promise you that while we close these gaps in our quality of life, I also remain focused on our environment. As mayor of Ferndale, I'm proud that we hired the first local sustainability planner in the county. Our master plan called for us to implement sustainability efforts, combining environment, social, and financial interests under one umbrella. As part of this effort, we provided seed money for a revolving fund. The city planner calculated the return on investment of a green project, and the fund would provide the upfront costs. But 25% of all energy savings would flow back into the fund for the next project. So I have asked Deputy Executive April Lynch, who just happened to serve as my Ferndale City Manager, to lead a similar effort at the county to support all our green projects here in Oakland County. We will also stay focused on the challenge of lead in our water. Last year, 5 Oakland County communities faced actionable lead levels in their water. These local communities, our Health Division, and our Water Resource Commissioner, Jim Nash, came together to educate the public on steps they can take to test their water and keep their families safe. Working with the Board of Commissioners, our 2020 budget set aside money to ensure safe drinking stations in every school in Oakland County. But we know the permanent solution is to get all levels of government to act with a sense of urgency. Address our failing infrastructure. We can't afford to wait. For me, a key pillar of Oakland Together is diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is central to my values as a county executive to celebrate our diversity and to make sure we are inclusive in all of our efforts. I was proud to appoint the most diverse leadership team in county history. But friends, in a county of 1.2 million people, it is long overdue to have the first female chief deputy and the first African American deputy executive. Working with the Board of Commissioners, we established the position of Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer. When hired, this person will lead both internal and external efforts to elevate inclusiveness and implement best practices related to this important priority. I'm also proud that we approved Commissioner Penny Louv's resolution creating Oakland County's first comprehensive non-discrimination policy covering employment and contracts. I believe it was the right thing to do morally and economically. Our businesses already understand the value of these policies in recruiting workers and serving their customers, and we are catching up to the private sector. Why, thank you. Yes. Seriously, it's also a fundamental value of mine that in our county we condemn the growing level of hate speech. Simply put, there is no place for language that is threatening, anti-Semitic, or bullying in any of our communities. Hate speech leads to hateful action. We will also catch up to our neighbors in Wayne and Macomb as a welcoming county. One Macomb and Wayne United have served to elevate the role of new Americans in those counties, and Oakland Together will do the same here. Let's talk a minute about these new Americans. Refugee entrepreneurs generated more than $70 million in economic benefits for Southeast Michigan. And in 1 year alone, refugees paid $130 million in state and local taxes. In recent years, Oakland County has accepted the highest percentage of refugees in Southeast Michigan. We are proud to do so. We recognize and appreciate the direct economic and social impact that refugees create in our community. So Oakland County is also honored to be home to nearly 60,000 veterans who have served in our country in the military during peacetime and in war. Yes. Our Oakland County veterans raised their right hand and made a pledge to defend our Constitution and nation. These men and women deserve our recognition, and not just on Memorial Day and Veterans Day, but every day. We need to ensure that all of our veterans and their dependents know the benefits that they are entitled to from their federal, state, and local governments. Never should a Vietnam vet exposed with Agent Orange be without. Never should a veteran who fought in Afghanistan or Iraq suffering from PTSD be without. And every World War II veteran should receive a proper burial, the playing of taps, and the presentation of our nation's flag when they pass. So my administration, under the leadership of Deputy Executive Sean Carlson, a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, by the way, will use a recently received state grant to redouble our efforts to make veterans and their dependents aware of how our Veteran Services Division can help them. I'd like to share with you just one video that recognizes our Oakland County veterans.
Veterans from all across Oakland County have fought for our freedom all across the world. At Oakland County Veteran Services, it's our duty to fight for the benefits and quality of life they've earned. You've been there for us. We'll be there for you.
Let me just ask, if there are any veterans joining us in the theater this evening, please stand as you are able so we can honor you. Awesome. We must also honor those who serve to protect us every day at home. Yes. This past year, we saw justice for the family of Oakland County Deputy Sheriff Eric Overall. On Thanksgiving morning 2017, Deputy Overall was tragically, intentionally, and fatally struck by a driver while doing his job placing stop sticks on the road to stop a fleeing vehicle. Deputy Overall was 50 years old and served in the sheriff's office for 22 years. I'm proud to announce, working with Sheriff Mike Bouchard and the Board of Commissioners, that we will establish the Eric Overall Memorial Benefit to provide financial help to the families of employees who lose their lives performing their jobs for us. This is a small statement to preserve their memory and honor their sacrifice. And we're joined this evening by Eric's brother, Brett, and his wife, Jody, who also manages our children's village. We're honored by your presence. And there they are. There they are. So to me, the underpinning of all these initiatives is good government. I strongly believe that process and active partnerships matter. To my colleagues on the board, Republican and Democrats, you have my commitment to work collaboratively, to listen to all ideas, and to find ways to govern together. As a former commissioner myself, I value the role of the board. My years on the commission helped shape my approach to public service. I'm honored to be the first commissioner to serve as executive. Right? I also want to recognize the county directors and employees. Clap if you're a county employee or director here this evening. How many do we have? Yes. You know, when Brooks passed away, it was not an easy time for our employees. I'm grateful for the professionalism in which everyone approached their work in those early weeks. They welcomed me, they shared with me their advice and experience, and they kept doing their jobs. Tonight, I want to present the inaugural Oakland County Lifetime Achievement Award to one of those employees, David Vanderveen, our Director of Central Services. Central is exactly what Dave is to Oakland County, by the way. To say he oversees our international airport that contributes $1 billion to our regional economy, or that he represents me on the Parks and Recreation Board and leads award-winning events like Fire and Ice, dramatically understates his role, actually. Dave is dedicated, he's collaborative, and he's joyful. And after 56 years, he continues to inspire each of us every day, and we are grateful for his leadership and his friendship. Thank you, Dave. And to all our hardworking employees, you have my commitment that we will work with the board to finalize the compensation study started by the Patterson administration and align our compensation with fair market rates. Maintaining fiscal discipline and ensuring that as a county we are living within our means is a fundamental principle of good government, right? So this includes a competitive tax system in the county, investments in critical infrastructure to protect our assets and encourage growth, and a structurally balanced budget that addresses long-term liabilities. Oakland County has followed these principles, and it is one of the primary reasons for our AAA bond rating. Yes. I'm committed to ensuring that this strong fiscal foundation remains intact. "2020 is one-of-a-kind year for Oakland County and our state and our nation. We have the census, our bicentennial, and a presidential election. Under the leadership of Commissioners Janet Jackson, Shelley Taub, and Angela Powell, we've hired two staff members to help make sure everyone in Oakland is counted in the census. This is vital to our representation and the return on the money that we send Washington. I also want to acknowledge the leadership of Oakland County Clerk Lisa Brown, who's implementing new voter rights and keeping our elections secure. "2020 is also Oakland County's bicentennial year." Get this, Oakland County was first organized on March 28th, 1820, 17 years before Michigan became a state. So this year, we are 200 years old, and we think that's a reason to celebrate. So along with the county's bicentennial committee, because we have a committee for everything, but they've been led with passion and purpose in recent years by Circuit Court Judge Michael Warren, and if you know him, you know that's true. We're now coordinating our activities, celebrations, and interactive online presentations for a year-long celebration. Oakland University's History Department is partnering with local museums across the county to create a digital display to give you Oakland County's history as you've never seen it before. We're also passing out 20,000 oak tree seedlings. Yes. And every community in Oakland County will get an oak tree to plant to commemorate our birthday. I want to thank Commissioner Gwen Markham for her leadership in this area. Gwen, as many of you know, is the daughter of our first county executive, Dan Murphy. She's carrying on his tradition of being a good steward of our natural resources. Thank you, Gwen. So, friends, after hundreds of conversations and thousands of miles, I can tell you with confidence that the state of Oakland County in 2020 is strong. It's determined, and it's ready to celebrate and shine this year. But good is not good enough for the type of county that we all deserve. We're working hard to address our challenges and make the quality of life better for all our residents in all parts of our county. But there's certainly no challenge we face in Oakland County that can't be fixed by all that is right with Oakland County. There's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that I think sums this up. What lies behind us, what lies ahead before us, are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. What lies within us will launch Oakland County, every part of it, beyond its strong foundation and into the future we all want for ourselves and our families. I am honored and humbled to be a part of that effort. I thank you for joining me tonight to be part of this gathering and for being part of Oakland Together. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.